I don't think we realise it, but in architecture we're actually quite poor at designing truly refined and tested systems. Buildings are systems. Currently there is some minor testing of subsystems in mechanical and electrical engineering disciplines, but we rarely test and prove that the overall building as a system and product is fit for purpose. If you look at it, what we actually produce are untested prototypes. When we looked to try and solve this problem and see how we could approach it, we began to look at other industries. And one place we looked, firstly, was NASA, believe it or not. We contacted their head of technical research, a gentleman called Robert Kowalski, who was kind enough to reply to us, and he told us an interesting story. For the first 30 years of the NASA space program, their rockets blew up on a regular basis. From the 1960s right through to the 1970s, most spacecraft didn't get into orbit in the first place. What they realized was that each of those systems that piggybacked on the rockets were actually made by many different companies, each one with a different standard of quality and of launch readiness. What NASA came up with to solve the problem is called the TRL, or Technology Readiness Level. The TRL is an ascending scale with a series of checkpoints on it which measure project maturity and relative risks. Each point on the scale defines whether a design has reached prototype stage, has been fully tested, right on up to a point where it can be defined as being ready to launch. All the TRL really does is define what a completed and tested system is. However, it proved hugely effective for NASA. Rockets stopped breaking down and satellites made it into orbit. NASA, along with the other industries that adopted it, became very good at designing complex systems. The product we make in the building industry, in most cases, is not fully designed, not fully tested, and not fully integrated. We have many different companies all contributing to the design and construction of buildings, but each one has a vastly different definition of completeness and quality. We use vague terms in the industry like fit for the use intended or practical completion, but we don't have a common language or benchmark to define the equivalent launch readiness for ourselves. What if we started thinking about a TRL for buildings, an ARL, an architecture readiness level? We think this is a simple but big idea.